Gentlemen, I'm going to give you 7 things you absolutely must do as a father. Well, at least if you want to be a good father. If you want to be kind of a schmuck loser dad, just keep doing whatever and hope it all works out, right? Knock on wood, cross your fingers, keep doing stupid stuff. See if that works out for you. Good luck with that. But if you want to be an awesome dad, there's certain things you have to do, right? There's a formula. There's a recipe for success. Success leaves clues. And it's the same with parenting, with being an awesome father, right? And a world-class dad. We have to be more thoughtful and deliberate about this stuff. We have to be more strategic. Most men simply are not strategic enough. They may put tons of work and effort into their workouts, into their fitness and their training. They may put it into work and business and succeeding and entrepreneurship and leadership, right? You're probably very successful in certain areas of your life. Are you that successful in your parenting? If you are, kudos. Man, this will help you level up and make those 1% tweaks. If you have not been yet, time to level up, right? Here's your opportunity. Here's your chance. It's never too late. Even, gentlemen, if your kids are already grown or maybe you've left the house, you can still level up as a dad. So if you'll allow me, I'm gonna be straight with you, right? I'm gonna call you out a little bit and be honest here because we need some straight man talk so we can get this done and make this happen. Now, my name is Greg Denny. I grew up in a broken home. My parents divorced when I was really little. My dad would come visit every half a year, every 6 months or so, and really hasn't been in my life. And stepdads came and went, multiple stepdads, and they were never really great role models. And so I left home at 16, wanted to start my own life, and I started paying attention because I was on my own. I was desperate. I was just frustrated. I had to find out. I remember one Christmas Eve, 16 years old, by myself, sitting in this hellhole, just so cold. I was watching my breath condense in the frigid air. And I remember that night and multiple nights like that. My birthday was soon after that. Just those nights when I was like, ooh, I will not be that kind of dad, right? And I was committed, man. I was driven to find out what a world-class dad is like. And so I've studied that for over 2 decades now, and I've met incredible men, and I've met men that are really struggling, right? And everything in between. And I've taken copious notes, and I've read all the books, and I've just dived in, like, what does it take to be a world-class dad? And so my wife and I, we have 7 children, 7 awesome children, and man, I lean in to being a world-class dad. And so let me share a few of the things that I've learned that make a huge difference. Number 1, learn from your parents' mistakes. It has blown me away as I have worked with good families across 5 continents, how many things are passed on generationally. There's been a lot of chances actually where I meet a youth, a young person, and I see a problem, and then I meet the parent, and there's the problem right there, and then occasionally I get the chance to meet the grandparent, and I see the problem there, and I suspect it would even go back further than that. And it's just fascinating. Or it'll go the opposite direction. I'll meet a grandparent and notice something they're struggling with psychologically or physiologically or a bad habit, a mindset, something that's off in their life. And it could be anything from food to finances to faith, whatever. And it gets passed down and gets passed down and gets passed down. And it's not genetic. It's passed down, right? It's learned behavior. So, number 1, learn from your parents' mistakes. Maybe they were doing the best they can. Maybe they didn't do that great. The honest reality is most parents don't have training in parenting. I mean, this sounds really pessimistic, but most parents aren't that great at parenting, right? They're like, well, let's get married. Let's have kids. We fell in love. Let's start a family. We'll have kids. And we'll figure this out, right? Kids come along. They're like, whoa, I'll try this. The neighbor seems whatever, right? They rarely study it and get strategic enough about it. They're just doing the best they know how. So learn from your parents' mistakes. This doesn't require bitterness or resentment. It doesn't require major reactive swings. I see this a ton. People look at their parents and they're like, my parents did this, and they swing way to the opposite side. And that's not healthy. It's too far. Or like, my parents always did this, and so they swing up in this side like this is the way to do things, and it may have not been the best way, right? And time periods change and all kinds of stuff. So what you're looking for are the very best strategies measured against the greatest thinkers of all time, right? And the best training that's out there. So learn from your parents' mistakes, and do it with coolness and calmness. Like, think through it objectively, heart and mind. See it as don't take it personally. That's hard to do, right? Don't take it personally. Look at it objectively. This was your chance. You were given an opportunity to see one form of parenting up close. Think about what worked. Think about what didn't, and measure that against other people, right? Like, did it actually work, or are you too close and too personal to it and think, oh yeah, that worked, and not really. So learn from your parents' mistakes. Number 2, never, gentlemen, never lie to your children. Be unfailingly honest. Ooh, this one's huge. You have to give them a foundation in character and integrity, and that all starts with you. No white lies, no gray lies, no black lies, none of it. No lies. And yes, you can lie without saying anything. You can just withhold the truth, and that's still a dishonesty. So learn how to be unfailingly honest with your kids. Now, there's timing, right? And there's age-appropriate times, but don't lie. Learn how to articulate a better answer, a different answer. Be honest with them. Tell them the truth, right? So they always know they're telling the truth. And just work around that. Learn how to communicate better. Learn how to be a better leader. That's going to require, all this is going to require you to level up, right? Bring it, right? You're ready for this. You're ready to level up. It's worth it, right? You're going to be a parent for the rest of your life. Buckle up. Level up. Learn whatever you need to learn so you don't have to, because a lot of people, a lot of good men, they end up lying or deceiving or withholding the truth because they're afraid of uncomfortable or difficult conversations. They don't know how to explain something or do something. Like, so what? Figure it out so you don't ever have to lie. Lying is, it was Dante in his in the Divine Comedy. He basically alludes to the fact that the lowest place in hell was reserved for liars. There's just something so important about honesty. Be unfailingly honest. This is the first step to helping your children develop character and integrity. Make that a priority in your home. All right, ready? Number 3. You got to roughhouse with your kids. You got to wrestle. It sounds strange to throw this one in there, but it's been proven by a lot of research and a lot of science that, like, playing and roughhousing and tough tumble, play is just good for kids. They learn how to use their bodies, right? They, especially when they're little, they just start learning how to use that, and then they learn about, they learn toughness and they learn skill. That there's something about the movement, and there's really cool brain research on this about moving your body all kinds of different directions, and there's something about the toughness of it all, and figuring this out. Like, you can tell, I can point it out in a crowd. You can tell who has had that physical touch and physical movements and the wrestling and the playing and the agility, and just it develops your mind and your body and your character in really important ways. So play with your kids, wrestle with your kids, teach them how to be tough, right? So I've wrestled with my kids, boys and girls, right? Because I want my girls to be tough too. This isn't like, boys will be tough and girls, like, whatever, good luck. Like, I want my daughters to be tough too. And so we wrestle and we play hard and we do really hard physical things. Anything from major hikes on huge mountains around the world to Krav Maga. We go to Krav Maga training every week, right? Multiple times a week. And martial arts. We've done mixed martial arts in Morocco and in Mexico. And we travel all over the world, and we just do challenging things. And we're always kind of wrestling with each other and learning submission holds and takedown moves. Like, I want our kids to be tough and capable. I want them to know how to use their body and use their strength and develop their skills and have that all happening, like, complete in a wholeness, physiological wholeness, right? It's just, it's important. So if you haven't done it, start. And it might be like, hey, like, what are you doing? Don't touch me. Right? I mean, it'd be awkward, but change, overcome the awkwardness, do something with them, do something physical, sign up for a race, sign up for like an endurance race or something. Like, just pick something. Pick a sport. Do something, right? And you're like, well, we're not physical people. We're not athletic people. Well, isn't the goal to be well-rounded? I didn't grow up with music in my life. I wish I had, but I didn't. I'm not a musical person. But I wasn't content to just step back and go, I'm more athletic. I'm not musical. I'm not intellectual. No way. I struggled reading. I struggled learning. Like, late into my teens, it was so hard for me. In fact, it was so hard. It was my hardest subject. And you know what I chose to get my degree in? English literature, right? I just refused to say, no, that's not my thing. And so I read voraciously. And I started taking, I tried some guitar lessons. I tried voice lessons. And then I started taking violin lessons when I turned 40. Like, I'm just not going to say, well, that's just not part of it. I want to be a well-rounded man. All right, next. Model for your kids. You absolutely have to set the example, and it has to be a high standard, gentlemen. Set a high standard, so high for yourself, and then gently lead them, call them along, right? And I just have to keep emphasizing, set a high standard for yourself and appropriately for your kids. Age appropriate in an appropriate way where it doesn't crush their spirit, but it actually calls them upward, and it invites them, entices them to do hard things because you're doing hard things. And by that I mean you run 5 miles and invite them to run a mile or two with you. And then eventually they'll catch you. My teens are all over it now, and they're tough. But I've been setting a high standard, and I still do. And I still demand more of myself than anyone else could expect. Like, I work harder on myself than I do on anyone else. I make sure that I am setting a fantastic example in every single part of my life for my kids, right? It's this whole idea of holistic optimization. It's a term I came up with for the way I want to approach life. The whole life wheel, right? Here's an example right here on my desk, right? Just every area of your life, and you get all the important areas, and you assess how you're doing, and you should be crushing it. And this is, like, I created the Be the Man Masterclass in Tribe, right? The whole idea of the Masterclass was to give you the tools and the training to optimize every important area of your life. We can't just have one section of our life like suck. That's like, yeah, I'll use my left arm, but my right arm's just going to hang here and atrophy, and sometimes you can't do much with it. Guess that's just life. No, that sucks. Like, step up. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, financially, all of it, physically, right? Lean in. Get a hold of your life. Model the way. Next is encourage your kids. Bring out the best in them with massive encouragement. You should be the biggest source of encouragement for your children. They should constantly hear from you and have a sense of absolute certainty that should come from you. Like, this is the birthplace of certainty and hope and confidence. They should know from you they can achieve whatever they put their mind, heart, and body to. And that has to come from you. Be unfailingly encouraging to your children. Constantly build them and help them and motivate them, inspire them, and encourage them. When they fall down, help them get back up and keep going. Don't do things for them. Don't clear the way for them. There's too much of that. And don't be so far back there they can't hear you. Be there right with them, encouraging them. So they need to have a healthy sense of certainty that they can do whatever they put their mind to, and you're there leading the way and encourage them. And last, but definitely not least, I got 2 more. You have to discipline them. Next is discipline. You have to learn how to correct well. Gentlemen, the dad lecture doesn't work, man. I tried that. You've tried that. It doesn't work. That thing just, nope. Like, it needs to end. Learn how to correct your children. And you're not their best friend, although that relationship can come, right? You're not just their buddy trying to be Mr. Cool Guy so your kids and their friends think you're cool. Yeah, there's part of that too, but you have to be the leader. And part of that is discipline. But you're also not the tyrant. You're not the dictator. You're not the slave driver. You're not the drill sergeant. You're the dad. And you need to be a world-class dad And so you need to be a world-class discipliner. Probably never even heard somebody say that before, right? Master this. Learn how to do it age appropriate and child appropriate. With some of my kids, I have to speak forcefully. With some of them, it's just a gentle, gentle touch. Even a look is enough. But if you do this well, and I learned about this early on, fortunately, and I've been practicing it for years. If you do this well, like we have almost zero discipline problems in our family. And I have 4 teenagers, right? They're amazing. And if there's ever times to correct, it's just gentle. It's like, hey, what do you think you could have done better there? Or if I need to say, that what happened, it wasn't appropriate. Here's why. How do you want to do that differently next time? It's honestly gentle conversations just like that, right? I never have to scream or yell or punish or like we don't ground, we don't like you're not taking away, like we don't have to do that, because when you get good at it, I'm serious, gentlemen, this works. When you get really, really good at it and you're modeling and your kids love and respect you and you're not like making massive withdrawals by ineffective withdrawals from like the emotional bank account, right, that Stephen Covey talks about. You're not making huge withdrawals with very ineffective discipline. It's actually really good, positive disciplining. When you do that and you do it well, your kids are super responsive. Your kids want to please you. Never, ever underestimate how much your children want to please you. And they want to do the right thing. But you got to give them the guidance. You got to put these puzzle pieces together, what I'm giving you here, so they're making good decisions on their own. And when they make mistakes, just discipline and correct in a good way, so you never do anything. Like, here's the key. Try as hard as you can. You may make mistakes on this. Try as hard as you can. That when you discipline, you're not burning any bridges. You're not driving any wedges between you and your child, right? Good discipline does not drive your kid away from you. It actually draws them to you. Whew, so good. Okay, now the last thing. Make deposits. That's what I was talking about. So deposits are this idea of the emotional bank account that Stephen Covey talked about. We make deposits and sometimes we make withdrawals when we are negligent, when we make mistakes, when we say the wrong thing, we do the wrong thing, we discipline too hard or ineffectively, when we're just selfish or distracted or whatever, we're just not being our best, we make withdrawals. Like, withdrawals are happening. A lot of people, a lot of men have totally bankrupt, overdrawn accounts with their kids. And that has got to stop. And it stops by making massive deposits often. And I would say there's micro deposits and macro deposits. There's little deposits and there's huge deposits. And think through ways, and it's going to be different for each kid, but think through ways how you can make deposits in that kid's account. And keep score. And this is fascinating. Not everybody keeps score the same, especially men and women keep score very, very differently. So if you're going to make deposits with your wife, you got to do it on her scoreboard, man. You make deposits that she cares about, not that you care about, right? It's like I never watched The Simpsons, but I saw one episode when I was a kid, and Homer bought his wife a bowling ball one year for like her birthday, and she hates bowling, but he loved bowling, right? So he buys her a bowling ball. It's like, brr, epic fail, right? So you make deposits on their scoreboard, on their scorecard, in their way, the bank account they want. Like, your daughter might want one thing, your son might want another, and your other son something different. Make big deposits. Make small deposits daily, right? It's easy. Little things. A little bit of time and attention, a little conversation, turn on some music, have some fun, a little bit of wrestling, just doing something they like to do. If you're going to take them rock climbing, or sit down and read a book to them, or practice a musical instrument with them, ask them what they want to do, and go do it with them, you guys. Go do it with them. Gentlemen, if they want to try something, okay, let's go. Let's go do that. Let's go try it together. Do all kinds of things. Then make some huge deposits. Like lifelong stuff, the things that they will easily remember for the rest of their life. So I took my daughter and we went and rode horses across Mongolia. I took my son and we circled Iceland. I took my other son and we hiked up to the base camp of Everest. I took my oldest daughter and we went and did a World War II expedition through Eastern Europe. Right? And taken all of them to Guatemala on humanitarian trips. And make big deposits, things with just the two of you, really connecting, really doing something special, something spectacular. Learn a skill together, learn a language together, train together, do something. One of my coaching clients is doing a marathon right now with his son. They're just spending hours and hours and hours every day running together, right? Chasing something together, struggling, straining, training together. It's so powerful. So put these things in place, gentlemen. If you have any questions, actually, throw them in the comments, ask. I live for this. This is part of my life's work, my mission, my passion, to help good men be world-class dads. Let's go make it happen. Reach upward.